In this video, I want to talk about the lookup function and the match and index functions. So the lookup function in this spreadsheet will allow me to look up a player's last name and return either their averages or their at-bats. So for example, in this case, I'm looking up Gomez. So I'll click on cell F1, which someone added a name to this cell, lookup value, which is appropriate in this case. So where do I want to look up Gomez? Well, I want to look up Gomez out of my list of players, and the list of players are found over here in column C. So starting in C2 all the way down to C16. And again, someone assigned a name to these players called players. And what do I want to be my result from the lookup function? Well, the result in this case, I wanted to know that player's average. So I'll select all the averages, and based on where I found Gomez, I'll find Gomez as the fourth name in my list of players, so I will return the fourth average from this function. And if I hit enter, I do see Gomez's average. At bats is going to be the same type of thing. So it's a lookup function. And what am I looking up? I'm looking up the player's last name based on this list of players. And then what do I want to return? Well, once I find where that player is in the list, I'm going to have a number. Well, this player is at row 4. And I want to return the at-bat that's at that same position in the at-bats list. So I'm going to select all of those at-bat values and put an ending parenthesis. So Gomez has 25 at-bats. If someone changes the player's last name and instead maybe Darvin is the player they want to look up, bam, the lookup function is going to update the average and the at-bats based on Darvin. The same thing if we type in King. Bam, it's a very powerful function. So let me go back to Darvin, and I'm going to try doing the same kind of a lookup that can be achieved using the match and the index function. I'm going to do it one step at a time. The first step is just going to match the player's last name with that list of players. So I'm looking up Davin in this list of players, and I'm seeing Davin is the second player in my list, so the number 2 is returned. Well, what if I have a function inside of a function? I have the index function, which is going to return a value. I don't want to return the player's last name, but I want to return their average. So I'm going to return an average. And which one do I want to return? Well, the row number that I'm going to use is whatever row number is returned from our match function. And if our match function finds a match on the second row, then we'll be getting the second average from our list of averages. Let me put in a matching parenthesis. And voila, and we see we have one less decimal place displayed, so I could increase the number of decimal places, but now we're seeing an exact match for Davin's averages. So it's pretty cool that the match and the index can be combined to do what the lookup function was doing. We'll do the same kind of thing with the at-bats. So I'm going to do one step at a time again. I want to match the Davin value with my list of players, and that'll just return a number. In this case, it's the number 2, but if I was looking at a different player, like if I was looking at King, well, King's all the way down at position 9 in our list of players. So in front of the match function, I'm going to use index, and then I'm going to put in the array of what I want to return. Well, I want to return one of the at-bat values. Which one do I want to return? Well, whatever number match gives me. Matching parenthesis, I'll hit enter, and voila, I see the at-bats for King. And anytime I change the player to lookup, like Perez, then my lookup functions and my match and index will automatically update to reflect that player. Pretty cool.